My dad remarried only 8 months after my mom's death to a woman with 2 children, a son the same age as a daughter and me just a year younger. They all moved into my dad's house while I was away at my auntie's house to celebrate my cousin's birthday on my mom's side. When I came home, I discovered that all my stuff was moved into the basement, disorganized. My room was taken over by my stepsister unexpectedly. I honestly could have reacted better, but seeing all of this upset me. I yelled at my dad, telling him that he's a worthless father and that I couldn't believe that he's putting me away in the basement to replace with his new little family. My dad told me that he thought I wouldn't mind, and since the basement is bigger than my old room and I'm older, I'm going to be going away to college soon anyway. I just don't understand this. I've been upfront with him about not even wanting him to remarry so soon after my mom died. So why did he think I'd be okay with him going behind my back to swap me to the basement? Maybe I have no right to request when or how long he should wait to get married, but I do feel like I have a right to at least know about a new room change that's coming up. I felt a mix of emotions. I locked myself in my new room, the basement. My stepmom is angry with me for reacting the way I did and thinks my dad should ground me from basically everything. She said I'm being a selfish brat and never even tried to get to know her or her children, which is true. I kept to myself, but have been having difficulty accepting their relationship because of how soon my dad got with her after my mom died. He only waited a month to date his coworker. It doesn't feel right to me. I understand some people move on faster than others, but he could have waited for me to have more time to heal. Maybe I am the idiot in this situation. Do you all think I should say sorry? I understand my stepsister and brother aren't at fault here. Obviously not the idiot. It might have been inevitable that changes would need to be made in sleeping arrangements, and it might even be true that the basement is an upgrade. Still, it should never have been done without you being involved in the conversation, part of the decision, and present for the moves. It also means that all of OP's belongings have been gone through, because I'm guessing either stepmom or sister packed all her stuff up, maybe. That would have made me angry more than anything. Someone else touching and going through all of my personal stuff? I'd feel completely and utterly violated. That's just insane. What is your dad thinking about allowing that to happen? To not even set it all up for you again is harsh. Is it possible for you to move in with your family? Although I'm guessing you want to be close to your dad, it's just a horrible situation. His new wife sounds just delightful. I hope she's not tried to erase all evidence of your mom, like take photos and stuff. If it happened to me, I would embarrass the heck out of my father. I would tell everyone about the garbage he did. I would have posted pics of all my belongings strewn across the basement and captioned it, "Came home to this. Apparently, I live alone in the basement now." I would also invite all my friends over to my basement lair and tell them I'm not welcome in the house and we have to hang out in the basement. I know it's the smarter move to suck up and get college paid for, but I'm petty. Your father sees his new family as a do-over family, his new wife not showing you a shred of respect. So I tell your auntie and any other family members that this is the one case where flying monkeys are warranted because the one man who was supposed to have your back didn't. That he started dating a month after being widowed and remarried after 8 months is either he was looking for companionship too fast or there was already a relationship existing between them. Agree, I bet he was cheating on his wife. You cannot move on so quickly. Your father knew what he was doing was wrong, which is why he didn't discuss it with you. Instead, he let his new wife probably talk him into it. That's unfortunate. I'm male 30, have been dating my girlfriend 32 for 2 years. Hannah's one of the sweetest girls you'll ever meet. She's always going out of her way for others and is the most caring girl I've ever been with. For example, she leaves me notes around the house telling me how special I am, buys me pastries just because, organizes special days out, things like that. She was very nervous about meeting my mom, 58, 18 months ago, as she wanted to connect and get along. My mom, however, can be quite cold and dismissive. It's just how she is. And unfortunately, my mom just doesn't click with Hannah. My mom constantly comments and digs about Hannah, including in front of Hannah, but I usually try to ignore them and keep the pace. Hannah gets upset, as she sometimes brings it up with me and worries that she's done something wrong, but generally she seems to cope well with it and ignores it. Last week, we ate Italian food at one of our family's favorite restaurants. I'm sitting next to Hannah, and my parents are opposite us, next to each other. My mom asked to take our photo on her phone, and I could see how pleased Hannah looked that she asked. We smiled and posed, but then once the photo was taken, my mom said, "Lovely," a photo of Josh, me, and his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend. My girlfriend's face drops, and she freezes. She doesn't deal well with confrontation, and I can see she started to get tears in her eyes. I can feel how upset she is next to me, and how hard she tries not to burst into full-on tears. My dad tells my mom she's being too harsh, and that it's not a nice thing to say, but my mom brushes it off as a joke. I don't say anything because I don't want to make anything worse than it is. The rest of the meal happens smoothly. When Hannah and I get back to hers, and she blows up at me, saying she's sick of how rude and unaccepting my mom is of her, and she's sick of the comments, and why didn't I say anything, and why don't I ever stick up for her when she says stuff? She called me a mama's boy. I apologize, but I don't know how me saying anything could improve the situation. Am I an idiot for not sticking up for my girlfriend? So your mom calls her your soon-to-be ex, and you just sit there like a stuffed animal and say nothing, and staring directly ahead? For Hannah's sake, I hope your mom's right. This is breakup worthy on her part. Then you can return to your mom, since she has you under her thumb so badly. You are the idiot. What could you have said to make the situation better? You could have told your mom to stop with the digs. You could have told your mom to apologize, or you'd leave and not see her again until she apologized. What you have currently is not peace, and it certainly is not peace for Hannah. You are majorly the idiot. Apologize to your girlfriend, and then immediately send a note to your mother and tell her you're cutting her off until she apologizes for her incredibly snide remarks. This is one of the easiest "you are the idiots" in history. You say you love this woman, but allow your mother to be rude and disrespect her. It's just the way she is. It's not an excuse to allow your mom to be rude. Unless you want to be alone for the rest of your life, you must stand up for your girlfriend. My wife, 35 female, and I, 37 male, have been married for 10 years and have 2 kids, a young child and a preteen. Last year, my wife was offered a pretty big promotion at her job. It's a huge step up and a big boost to her career goals, but it would require relocation. After talking it over, we decided she should take it. We moved about 6 months ago. I was able to get a new job in our new city, but I only get 10 vacation days for the first year. Part of my wife's promotion was getting a lot more vacation days. She has 5 weeks. She's already used a couple of her weeks of vacation time for trips with her friends or sisters. I've stayed home with the kids while she's on these trips. She also took the kids on a trip while I stayed home. She still has over 2 weeks of vacation time left. We've started discussing our holiday plans for this coming winter, and she wants to visit her parents for an extended visit. She wants to take time off around Christmas and New Year's and stay with them for 2 weeks. That's all well and good, but that's all my vacation time. I told her that I didn't want to spend all my vacation just seeing her family. I said I would be okay with using 5 days or so, but I want to save time for me to use for things I want to do like she did. She got upset because she wanted us all to be together for the holidays, and since the kids have all that time off school anyway, it made sense to her that we would stay for a long time. We also haven't seen her parents since we've moved, so I get why she wants to stay that long. I've tried offering that she can stay for as long as she wanted with the kids, and I would head home by myself early, but that wasn't acceptable because she doesn't want to fly with both kids by herself, which I understand, but I'm just trying to compromise. She wants to start booking flights, and I'm not willing to use all my vacation time for one trip to see her family. So we got into a huge fight over it because she's not willing to accept my compromises. I finally got mad at her and told her that she got to use as much time as she wanted to do fun things for herself while I watched the kids, and I wanted to be able to do the same. I told her it was great that she had so many new benefits from her new job, but I had to start over, and I didn't have those same options. She took that as me being resentful for moving, which isn't true. I'm happy she got promoted, and I'm not mad about relocating, but I am upset that she isn't willing to understand that my work circumstances are drastically different from hers now. I'm not willing to budge on this, and she's mad that I'm not simply going along with what she wants to do. I know it's important that she sees her family, but I just want the option to do fun things for myself as she did. She thinks I'm being petty and stubborn because I'm jealous of her promotion. Not the idiot. I don't see anything wrong with your compromise, and she's not willing to compromise at all by the sounds of it. She needs to be aware that some people don't get more days off until later at the same job. She's not being considerate here. Funny how she's been all about being with family, but flying alone with her 2 kids seems too much. LOL, OP's been fine with the kids when she set up her alone trips, but heaven forbid, she has to mind her kids for a flight home. They aren't even infants. OP, you're not the idiot. I hope she sees reason because your compromise is more than fair. I am babysitting my little brother, young teen, while my parents visit a friend abroad who's on her deathbed. My girlfriend and brother got along pretty well the first few days. Last night, we went bowling and then had dinner at a restaurant afterward. It was a great night because we had so much fun. We were walking back home after dinner, and my girlfriend and brother were arguing about Stranger Things. It started as a fun little debate at first, but when my girlfriend corrected him, he didn't like it. So we told her, "What do you even know? You're just a dishwasher." I was shocked and furious at him. When he saw our reactions, he tried to backtrack, saying it was a dumb joke that he didn't mean. I told him to shut up and went to catch my girlfriend because she had walked away. I apologized for what he said and told her that he would do the same thing. I knew an apology wasn't enough, so I promised her I would give him a stern talk and ground him for the remaining time he'd be staying with us. She said that I didn't have to apologize because it wasn't my fault and that his apology wouldn't be sincere, so she asked me to leave him alone to teach him a lesson about not disrespecting women and throwing misogynistic insults. I told her I couldn't do that because it was late and I wasn't comfortable leaving him alone, especially since it was a 20-minute walk. She suggested I call an Uber for him because she wouldn't walk back with him. I refused again because he was my responsibility and I couldn't let him go with a stranger because if something happened to him, my parents would never forgive me. She sarcastically told me it felt nice being supported by her boyfriend when she just got insulted. She said that my brother wasn't a child and that many teenagers ride in Ubers alone, but since I wasn't interested in going with her, she'd call one for herself. During the walk back home, I told my brother that if he insulted my girlfriend or anyone else in my presence, he could forget that I was his brother. He started crying, but I was so angry that I told him to save his tears because he should have regretted what he said. After all, it was disrespectful, and not because I threatened to cut him off. I informed him that he would not be allowed to leave the room except for the bathroom or eat until our parents returned, so he kept sobbing the whole way back. When we arrived, my girlfriend had just been dropped off by her Uber. It was very awkward because they were both angry at me, and when we entered the house, they directly went to the rooms and closed the doors. So now I can't sleep and have been lying on the couch wondering what I was supposed to do. Not the idiot. Your young teen brother is still very much a child. He overstepped, but beyond a word of correction, this doesn't have to be scorched earth. He needs to apologize. Your girlfriend, however, is supposed to be an adult. She was out of line, expecting you to abandon your brother on the sidewalk. She's the idiot for that. Now she's pouting in her room, another childish act. The poor brother already learned from this that he's disposable to OP. I'd encourage a follow-up discussion. Yes, what he said was wrong, but your girlfriend overreacted, and OP probably did more than he should, hoping to appease her partially. It's good that OP didn't completely cave to his girlfriend's unreasonable request. Still, her reaction feels dangerously similar to those who isolate their significant others from other friends or relatives so they can dominate or control them. or maybe just a narcissist who makes things about themselves. Either way, I hope this behavior isn't a trend. You are the idiot. Calm down and take a look at yourself in the mirror. You might have acted responsibly when it came to staying with your brother, but not when it came to disciplining him. First off, never punish in anger, because you can and will say something that you'll regret later, such as your stupid threat to cut him off if he said something you didn't like. And trust me, once you calm down and think about the situation, you will regret saying that. I'm a sucker for music and songwriting. I haven't written many songs, let alone recorded, but I had good inspiration, and I wrote a very special one for my girlfriend, who I've been with for 3 years. I even synthesized music for it, and I want to record it and personally give it to my girlfriend, since it's special for us. My family asked me to play them the song, since it's the first song I finished, and I did. My sister was very touched, and she asked me to play that song on her wedding day for her and her husband. I said I could try making another song for them if I have the time and inspiration, but I don't want to play this one because it's personal for my girlfriend and me, and it's about our relationship. She insisted that it was not a big deal, and she wanted me to play the song. Again, I said that I don't want to. It's personal. She then pulled the "It's my wedding card. I'm your sister. Can't you do me this favor? Can't you make your sister happy?" I said again, no. I told her I'd try to write one for her and her husband, but I'm not playing mine. Plus, it'd be more touching for me to write them their own song. She and my parents then proceeded to claim that it would be more appropriate for me to sing that song for my sister and her husband on their wedding day, since they're now official with their relationship and not just boyfriend and girlfriend. That hit the nail on the head, and I said, you know what? Screw you all for what you're doing. This isn't fair at all, and the fact that you're undermining my relationship to make a point is shitty. My parents, my sister, and her husband are now bugging me about this. They say I'm a very selfish person who can't do his sister a small favor, and I'm very uptight about this. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Imagine the awkward chit-chat with relatives afterward, explaining the inspiration for the song came from your relationship with your girlfriend, but your sister wanted you to dedicate it to her. My petty side says, okay, sing it, but introduce it by saying who you wrote it for. Your sister's trying to straight up steal your sentiments and artistic work. Remain polite, but please let her know she ought to get lost. The level of entitlement is astounding. Yeah, you made this one-of-a-kind ode to your relationship and the person you love, but I'd really like it if it were all about me and my relationship instead. Girl, you are the idiot. Don't you think every wedding song ever was written about a different woman and man? People are joking around about the dedications, but you could have said something like, I wrote this song for my girlfriend. It's about the deep love she makes me feel. I think everyone deserves this kind of love in their lives, and I know sister and her husband will share it for years and years to come. Obviously, you didn't write the song for your sister, but performing it at her wedding lets her and her husband enjoy your art, which they love, and costs you nothing. So this was a weird hill for you to die on, and offering to write them a different song is not the same thing. Yeah, but this isn't just any general love song track from Target. They wanted a personal song. This is in no way personal, since it declares love for another person. LOL. OP made this song for his girlfriend, not from the husband to the wife. And pressuring OP to play his song at their wedding? Sheesh, you are entitled, and so is the family. OP doesn't owe his song to you. It's a weird situation. So my 26 male best friend is Derek, 26 male. We've been best friends since we've been 8 years old. However, he lived with my family during high school and college due to some family issues. My parents call him their bonus kid, and we are brothers at this point, so I don't trust his girlfriend of 3 years, Nicole, 25. She's always just giving me bad vibes. She lies about little things for no reason. Unfortunately, she and Derek have a lot of similar experiences and hobbies, and he's head over heels for her. I've always been respectful to her, but I'm always looking out for Derek. Unfortunately, my girlfriend thinks he's blind with love. So Nicole is now 8 months pregnant. Derek comes to me asking me to be the godfather, legal guardian. Derek works a dangerous job, so it wouldn't be crazy for something to happen to him. Nicole was on board with this too. I told him I would do that if he'd get a DNA test done first. He was shocked and asked why. About 7 months ago, Derek and Nicole broke up for a couple of days. She claimed nothing happened with anyone else and just sat home and cried. But why not make sure? Why would it be an issue if she had nothing to hide? But my most significant reason is what Nicole did with her sister. So Nicole's sister had a kid. She claimed her boyfriend was the dad. He wasn't, and she knew he wasn't. Nicole lied straight to her sister's boyfriend for years. So Nicole knew the whole time that her niece wasn't his kid. Everything came out eventually. The dude left, and Nicole blamed the ex-boyfriend for not loving his kid regardless. I told her it wasn't his kid and she knew it. When I called Nicole out, she said it wasn't her place to tell him. Ever since that incident, I've kept her at arm's length and would rather Derek break up with her. Derek and I have had deep talks about that, but he defends Nicole's actions. I asked him if the kid wasn't his, would he stick around? He said no. Hence my pushing for a DNA test. Derek blew up at me, saying I'm forcing him into something he doesn't want. I said I'm not helping raise some other dude's kid, and that if the DNA test is such an issue, then pick someone else to be the godfather. And he can tell Nicole I'm the one pushing for this, and the blame can be on me. My parents are calling me an idiot. My girlfriend agrees that every kid should be given a DNA test at the hospital at birth to avoid issues, and we don't understand why that isn't a law. She's on my side with everything. Am I the idiot? You're not just being asked to be this kid's godfather, which doesn't really have any legal status. You're being asked to take legal responsibility for the kid if something should happen to Derek, right? So, not the idiot. That's your decision. You're not pushing Derek to do anything by putting a condition on your decision, and especially given Nicole's history. I think a DNA test is in order, but that's Derek's decision. He can accept your conditions for wanting to take legal responsibility for the kid or find someone else. You are the idiot. Don't be the godfather either way. Even if the test proved that your friend was the father, it wouldn't change your mind about Nicole. You dislike her, and so you're hoping this test will make them break up. But he gets to decide for himself who he wants to be with. It's not up to you. You've already expressed your concerns, so now back off and let him handle his relationship. My take on this as well. He should decline the offer if he doesn't like the child's mother. This role should be for someone who respects both parents. OP, you suspect Nicole of having a fling 7 months ago when she got pregnant, but she's now 8 months pregnant. Your math doesn't make sense. If you and your girlfriend decide to have a kid, will you do a DNA test if the kid is yours? This is your issue, not Derek's. You're asking him to do something he clearly doesn't want to do, and it isn't really your place. That's on him 100%. If he believes this is his kid, knowing everything he knows, then that's really his choice. Plus, I kinda get the sneaking suspicion that you're pushing for this because you want the girlfriend gone, and this would get it done for you. Update. Thanks everyone for your responses. The test cost $159. I called our local hospital and even offered to pay for the test, so Derek doesn't have to. I talked with him again and showed him my post. He's gonna get a blood test done right now. It sounds like Nicole isn't fighting him that hard. So I, 24 female, and my boyfriend, 26, have been dating for 9 months, and recently we celebrated my birthday. We went to my favorite restaurant, and after we went to a bar. I enjoyed it. I drove because he had a car accident the other day, and his car's in the shop. While I was ordering drinks and he was in the bathroom, a stranger bought me a shot. I thanked him but told him I was in a relationship and he backed off. Then my boyfriend came back and asked where I got the shot, and I answered. The guy was halfway across the bar by that point, but my boyfriend still got angry and accused me of flirting for free drinks. I told him that was silly, and he just thought I was pretty and was respectful. He just scoffed and said okay, and we continued our night. He gets progressively more intoxicated and starts bringing up the man who bought me a shot and asked me if I told him I'd sleep with him for a free drink. I told him no, I would never. And we didn't even interact besides telling him thank you, but I was in a relationship. He called me a liar, and men don't do that unless they think that witch is an easy target, and then tells me it's because I'm dressed like one. I'm wearing a bodysuit and a skirt, maybe a little cleavage, but not anything indecent. I told him if he didn't stop, I was going to leave, and he would have to get an Uber home. He kept saying that we wouldn't be having this conversation if I wasn't so flirty. I told him again if he kept talking to me like that, I would leave him here. He scoffed and told me I wouldn't do that because I know better. I got up, grabbed my purse, and told him to Uber back to his apartment because he wasn't welcome at mine. As I was driving home, completely sober by the way, I hadn't even taken the shot, my boyfriend did, and I was nursing a mojito the whole time. He called and texted me and said I had better come back before he gets angry, so I turned my phone off. When I turned my phone back on, I had 53 missed calls from mainly him, but also our friends and his mom. She went and picked him up, and almost 300 texts were calling me an idiot and saying he could have died and I shouldn't have left him, and even some calling me a slut and a bad girlfriend. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, OP, but please break up with this toxic, shameless, manipulative idiot ASAP. He accuses you of flirting for free drinks and calls you names and other things. It's incredibly harmful and disgusting. Also, his friends and mom are idiots for harassing you constantly, even though it's your boyfriend's fault. I attended bar for several years and have seen this situation play out several times, almost verbatim to how you described it. Of course, the girls could have been dressed in parkas and sweatpants, but it would have always come back to that topic. I've even had to keep one of the boyfriends from trying to fight the drink buyer, a regular of mine who was a super nice dude. He's a grown dude. You were well within your right to leave. I hope he's your ex-boyfriend now. I'd dump him hard after this display of insecurity and misogyny. She went and picked him up? That's hilarious. It's not hard to imagine what kind of woe is me stories he told his mommy on that drive home. Lose this jerk, block his number, and feel grateful you only lost 9 months of your life. He's an insecure idiot and mama's boy. Red flags, darling. I, 22 female, went to a wedding recently for my friend's 22 female cousin. My friend brought me along for emotional support since she was forced to go. My friend didn't like her cousin because, simply put, the cousin was horrible to my friend. She would make fun of my friend's appearance, which included anything from weight, hair, skin, etc., despite my friend being drop-dead gorgeous. This has led to having major self-esteem issues. On top of that, there's a 10-year age gap between my friend and her cousin, 32 female, meaning it was literally, at one point, an adult bullying a child. My friend's cousin is also awful. She's a mean girl who gossips and fights with everyone. However, my friend's parents believe that family is forever no matter what, so she was dragged to the wedding, meaning I got dragged along as well. The ceremony happened, and we moved to the reception. Everything went surprisingly smoothly until I started dancing with one of the groomsmen on the dance floor. The bride didn't like this. I know because she came up and asked me what I thought I was doing. I was confused and asked her what she meant. She asked me why the heck I was all over him, meaning the groomsmen. I didn't know why she was upset about it. After all, she had a new husband whom she should be celebrating with. My friend intervened after she noticed the bride talking to me angrily. The bride, her cousin, turned to my friend and asked why she had brought this cow to her wedding. I wasn't too surprised given the stories I've heard about her, but that still stung. My friend told her to back off and not to say that to me. The bride said I was a witch for dancing with the groomsmen. My friend explained that the groomsman I was dancing with was her ex-boyfriend. I turned to the bride and told her that she had just married another man, so it wasn't like she wanted her ex-boyfriend back. She then told me that the chances were still high and that I had no right to put my hands on him. I laughed and said, "Oh, so you're the one who's actually a witch." After that, the bride lost it, screaming at me, cussing at me, crying while her husband was trying to escort her away, and all the while I was laughing my head off. I had a few drinks then. Finally, my friend escorted me away back to our table. Now, I feel like I may be the idiot for saying that to the bride at the reception, as much as I hate her. According to my friend, she's been getting calls and texts from angry family members, asking the both of us how we could ruin the bride's big day. So, am I the idiot? I'm sorry. Did the bride at her wedding say that the chances were high that she'd get back together with the groomsman ex-boyfriend? It sounds like you just called a spade a spade. While not exactly the most mature or polite, not the idiot. New husband patting her arm and going, There, honey, you're completely right. You could get back together with Chad. I'm here and I support you. Holy crap. OP, I think you found the only circumstance on earth where I would say calling the bride names doesn't make you the idiot. Well done. Tell your buddy to put her phone in a drawer until this blows over. For dog's sake, she's getting married and still wants to keep her ex at arm's reach? Also, bullies suck, and your friend's family are a bunch of huge idiots for allowing her cousin to treat her like that ever since she was a child. I feel sorry for your friend getting crappy messages from family, but that's more about the family than what you did. I think the most unfortunate person in this scenario is the husband, the poor man. Background: I have a fairly successful real estate company. About 15 years ago, I was engaged and she cheated on me. And following that, I changed my will so that my sisters and my nieces and nephews would inherit what I have after I passed, because I decided never to have a partner ever again. My sisters only knew I changed my will because I told them this while drinking at a New Year's Eve party in 2007. About 6 years ago, I met Anne. We ended up in the same ward after having cancer treatments and started talking, and things went from there. I'm not ashamed to admit I think she's the bee's knees. We've been together ever since. My family is aware of this, but has been unwelcoming to Anna for reasons that have never been clear. There's no significant age difference. We're all white, no religious issues, etc. However, I figured it out recently when one of my sisters approached me and asked whether I wanted input on which college her eldest was going to. I was confused as to why it involved me, and she explained that, of course, I would be paying for it. I was shocked and asked why she thought this, and she explained that I'd said I would leave everything to them 15 years ago. I laughed and pointed out that I was 24 and heartbroken at the time, and my sister and her husband were well off and should be supporting their own child, not asking me to. My sister went off about how Anna was stealing me and my money and assets away from the family, and how we have no children, so I should support my sister's children. I said that of course Anna would inherit from me, as she's my spouse, and that my sister needs to take her demanding attitude elsewhere. Not to mention that at 39 and 37, Anna and I can have kids yet, and whether we did was none of my sister's business. We haven't spoken since, and my other sister's mad at me for leading them on for 15 years. I feel like I might be at fault here because I can see how they could assume that, but also, why did they take my intoxicated word for it and never bring it up since? Especially as I now know that neither has saved for their kids to go to college because they were relying on me to pay. I now understand why they don't like Anna also. Anna's very upset about the whole situation and blames herself for driving a wedge between my sisters and me. Am I the idiot here? Edited to add, I first developed cancer when I was 27, went into remission at 29, and it came back when I was 32. And I had surgery when I met Anna, but there is a good chance it'll come back, so I'm assuming this is why my sister didn't plan for their kids' college. Not the idiot. They would have inherited it if you had died. You never stipulated that you'd cover college, etc. for your nieces and nephews. They've walked around for 15 years, hoping you'll drop dead so they get money to pay for things they haven't accounted for themselves. Wow, your family's a bunch of gold diggers. This is not Anna's fault at all. You said you would never be with anyone after a hard breakup at 24 years old while drinking. How did they get from the idea of inheritance to you paying for college? Trying to get rid of Anna to make sure they get your money? Your family is entitled and horrible. Obviously, the plan was for OP to die before the kids reached adulthood. However, not only did he have the poor manners to keep living longer than they hoped, he changed his will. So not only do they want OP dead sooner than later, they don't want OP to be happy while they're alive. They sound lovely. You aren't their personal piggy bank. If someone said that to me while they had been drinking with a freshly broken heart, I'd completely dismiss it. Then to be so greedy that they automatically dislike Anna because it means they won't get an inheritance shows more about them than you. You have a right to be happy. They're not entitled to your money. I suggest you talk to a lawyer because if you leave them nothing, they'll probably try to contest your will. My girlfriend and I, both 22, have been together for about a year. During that time, neither of us have gone on vacation with our friends, and we haven't met each other's friends. We live together and have a dog that she already had before we got together. She and her friends planned on going on vacation, but decided they weren't due to the funds and the inability to find a time that would work for them. I'm going back to my hometown to visit my parents next week, which we've known for months. Our dog was going to stay with her at ours because my parents don't like dogs. A few days ago, she came home from her friend's house, super excited about something, and told me that she and her friends had spontaneously booked a vacation for next week. It was cheap and they all had managed to get it off of work somehow. I asked her if she'd forgotten about my plans, and she said no, that I'll have to bring the dog with me. I said no, she's not my dog, and my parents won't want her to come, which started an argument. I ended up saying it was utterly inconsiderate of her to book the vacation without asking me, and that if she had any sense, she'd cancel it. She told me she couldn't do that without losing all the money, and that she shouldn't have to ask for permission to go on a trip with her friends. She left last night in a massive strop and went and stayed with her friend. My friends have said I'm an idiot for how I handled it, but I don't think I am. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. The issue isn't her needing permission to go. She had a commitment to look after the dog, and she should have checked first. I think the bigger problem is that instead of figuring out how to solve the problem, she just walked out and went to stay with one of her friends. So many warning signs here. She knew the plan before she booked her last-minute vacay with the girls, including that there was an issue with pet care at your parents, since they don't like dogs, which is totally understandable. It sounds like she just expected you to cave and is throwing a strop that you didn't. This makes me think that this isn't the first time she's abused her power in the relationship to manipulate you. It might be worth thinking about the balance between you two and if it's serving you well anymore.